Shoplifting epidemic revealed to be costing London PS9.2 million a month. New figures show a 48% spike in offences and one co-op was looted 3 times in one day. Shoplifting is estimated to cost London PS9.2 million every month. The Evening Standard can reveal with new figures showing a 48% spike in offences. Brazen thieves have burst into stores with wheelie bins, suitcases, and holdalls to clear shelves of items. Staff who try to intervene are subjected to racist and sexist slurs, threats, and violence. One Colorado op store in inner London was looted 3 times in one day by organized gangs. Matt Hood, its food managing director, described the crime wave as out of control. Retailers are said to be so demoralized by perceived police inaction that they don't even bother to report 9 in 10 incidents, the Standard found. According to data obtained by this newspaper, 55,860 shoplifting offenses were recorded across London in the past year, an increase of 48.3% on the previous 12 months and nearly double the 25% rise nationally. But only 3,462 of the London crimes were solved, just 6%. A record-breaking number of shoplifting offences were recorded in London last year, new figures have revealed. The British Independent Retailers Association BIRA is calling for urgent action to tackle this concerning trend in order to safeguard employees and customers. Stats from the Office for National Statistics highlighted 57,210 shoplifting incidents recorded by the Met Police in 2023. This figure represents a staggering 50% jump from the 38,103 offenses in 2022, marking the highest levels since records started in 2003. John Halliday, marketing director for BIRA, voiced concern over these latest figures, which he believes paint a troubling picture for independent retailers and businesses across the UK. He pointed out retail crime not only inflicts financial losses but also poses a grave threat to the safety and well-being of shop staff and customers. Halliday also noted a recent BIRA survey found 35.5% of shop staff had experienced verbal abuse while at work. Worryingly, of those physically assaulted, a whopping 70% opted not to report the altercations to the police. It's imperative that urgent action is taken to address this concerning trend and ensure the security of both businesses and their employees and customers, he stated. Shoplifting crimes in England and Wales leapt by 37%, reaching a staggering 430,104 recorded incidents in the year up to December 2023, the highest level in 2 decades. In November alone, there were 4,790 crimes, 159 per day. However, experts say 90% of shoplifting goes unreported because police won't investigate any incident below PS2000, meaning losses in London could have topped PS110 million in 2023. The British Retail Consortium puts the nationwide figure at PS1.7 billion. Shoplifting is the fastest growing crime in London, and the scale of the problem is so great that some shopkeepers face going out of business or leaving neighborhoods. Caroline Pigeon, City Hall police and crime spokesman for the Liberal Democrats, said the increase in shoplifting across London is unacceptable. The Met Commissioner and Sadiq Khan need to get to grips with a problem that is quickly becoming endemic. The fact that the rate of shoplifting has risen so much in London compared to the rest of the country is a real concern. She urged the force to get back to the basics by attending shoplifting incidents, adding while larger chain stores such as supermarkets may be able to afford private security, this isn't the case for London small businesses, especially in the economic circumstances where margins are tight. Mr. Khan told London Assembly members that it was a big source of concern that police officers were not being sent to 71% of store thefts. He vowed to raise it urgently with Met Chief Sir Mark Rowley. Commander Kyle Gordon, who is leading the Met's new shoplifting task force, described local shops as the lifeblood of communities and said victims are suffering. If you're a family-run corner store, it might be enough to push you towards it no longer being feasible. The officer said a game-changing trial of facial recognition technology had already identified 150 serial suspects when CCTV images were compared against the force's mugshot database. He added, "We'll never arrest our way out of this. It's a societal issue that has been around since the 10 Commandments. But this initiative is looking at the most harmful offenders and then building a good case to pursue them." Ex-Met Detective Mick Neville, now a CCTV security expert, wrote to Met Chief Sir Mark, saying he could return to double the number of offenders identified from shop footage. "What we've found is 100 thefts are not committed by 100 shoplifters. It's about 10, he said. "People feel an entitlement to steal, and when they are stopped, that's when it gets violent and needles and knives come out. And they know even when caught on CCTV, they're getting a 10-bob sentence. At the moment, shoplifting looks like a good gamble." David McKelvey, another former Met Detective Chief Inspector, runs a private security firm in 15 business districts including Chelsea's Kings Road, Knightsbridge, Piccadilly Circus, Leicester Square, Fitzrovia, Acton, Ealing, and Romford. Last October, a video went viral on social media of TMI's prolific crimes team apprehending a gang robbing PS 3,000 worth of electrical goods at Tesco in Waltham Abbey. Mr. McKelvey claims to have prosecuted 300 shoplifters with a near 100% conviction rate. "What we are doing is not rocket science. It's what the police used to do," he told The Standard, adding, "Yes, there is an epidemic and a lot of violence towards staff, but this can be turned around in months. Police, ourselves, the community, ministers, and courts all working together. The reality of retail crime means we all pay more for a tin of beans." Armed shoplifting in London was 91% higher last year compared with the period just before Sadiq Khan took office, data reveals. Met Police statistics released to Liberal Democrat mayoral candidate Rob Blackie through a Freedom of Information request showed that shoplifting in general was 34% higher in 2023 than 2015. The Labour mayor defended his record by arguing that the cost of living crisis has fueled a rise in acquisitive crime across the country, and that government austerity has meant he is tackling crime with one hand tied behind his back. In 2015, the last full year before Khan took over from Boris Johnson, there were some 456 recorded instances of shoplifting which involved the use of weapons or tools. The number rose in Khan's first years in office, reaching 844 recorded offences in 2018. The figure went down dramatically in the pandemic, but has since rebounded to hit 874 offences in 2023. A similar pattern can be seen with shoplifting overall in London, as 47,759 offences were recorded in 2015, compared with 57,414 offences in 2023. Blackie said shoplifting is now at epidemic levels in London, and the trend in the use of weapons is deeply worrying. This is not a victimless crime, especially for retail staff who are being threatened and local businesses which are suffering huge damage. Despite this, the police attend less than half of all shoplifting incidents in London. This leads many people to feel like it has been virtually decriminalized and emboldens criminals who think they won't get caught. We need a mayor who will get a grip on this. Londoners feel the effect of the lack of police on our streets and the chaos surrounding the culture in the Metropolitan Police. That's why I've pledged to reallocate the money from Sadiq Khan's tube fare freeze towards policing where it's needed most. With this money, we can get almost 500 more police on the streets for the next 4 years and make up the shortfall in the Met Police's turnaround plan. Asked about the increase in shoplifting, Khan referred back to a speech he gave in March, in which he highlighted research by the London School of Economics into how rising living costs have fueled increases in some crimes. He said the LSE did some work in relation to the increase in the cost of living and the increase in acquisitive crime. One of the things they explained was shoplifting, burglary, robbery, and theft went up because of the increase in cost of living. We're supporting those shops in relation to the safer neighborhood teams going to shops to support them. We're working with shops in relation to prosecutions, and you're seeing across the country a big increase in shoplifting, not just in London. According to the Office for National Statistics, shoplifting has increased 29% across England and Wales. When comparing 2015 with 2023, a few percentage points lower than in London's 34% rise. City Hall Lib Dems pointed out last year that the police have been attending fewer than half of shoplifting calls in London since at least 2018. Asked if this was acceptable, the mayor said you're seeing a big increase in relation to the response from the police. Under the previous commissioner, very few burglaries and shopliftings were being responded to by the police. That's increased hugely. Between April and September 2023, police attended 44% of calls. This compares with 43% in the pre-pandemic years of 2018/19 and 2019/20 under the previous commissioner, Dame Cressida Dick. In the post-pandemic period just after Dame Cressida's departure as commissioner between April 2022 and March 2023, the figure hit a recent low of 38%. The current commissioner, Sir Mark Rowley, took office in the middle of that period in September 2022. Khan added, clearly the more resources the police have, the more they can respond. We now have across London every borough with a superintendent in charge of the borough. Every borough has a police station open 24 hours a day, and every ward, a small part of a borough, has 2 dedicated ward officers and a PCSO, police community support officer, as well. Just imagine what more we could do with a Labour government. Sources close to Mr. Khan have previously argued he is tackling crime with one hand tied behind his back in the face of over £1 billion of Tory austerity cuts to cops and youth services, while adding that he would welcome the Lib Dems joining him in making the case for the government to properly fund our police. The London mayoral election is on Thursday, 2nd May, along with elections to the London Assembly,